We have to start this dossier with a question that still lacks a clean answer. Was Silk Road a genuine experiment in human freedom, or a convenient rationalization for a $200 million drug empire? To find out, we have to look at Ross William Ulbricht in 2011. By every account, he was an unremarkable, soft-spoken 26-year-old from Texas. He had a background in physics and material science, and held strict libertarian beliefs about voluntary exchange and the overreach of government power. At that time, the internet lacked a truly frictionless space for commerce. Every digital transaction was tracked by banks and regulated by the state, leaving no arena completely free from government coercion. Ulbricht engineered a bypass. By combining the encrypted Tor routing network with a fringe, virtually unknown digital currency called Bitcoin, he created a completely untraceable economy. To run it, he adopted the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts. Borrowed from fiction, the title was designed as a deliberate identity shield, a name passed from one captain to the next, ensuring no single administrator could ever be pinned down. This chart plots the immediate result. The platform facilitated over 1.5 million transactions. It generated more than $200 million in revenue, overwhelmingly driven by the sale of heroin, methamphetamine, and cocaine, shipped right through the ordinary mail. Ulbricht's theoretical framework for economic liberty manifested as a sprawling, uncontrolled, real-world black market. Which leads to a second question. How much did the corruption of federal agents later taint the government's ultimate case against the Dread Pirate Roberts? The platform functioned as an ideological experiment, while simultaneously serving as our 5-volume hub for the global drug trade. Between 2011 and 2013, the platform accrued a severe human cost. Federal investigators documented 6 fatal overdoses tied directly to narcotics purchased through the site, including the death of a 16-year-old. To protect this marketplace from internal threats and extortion, prosecutors made a staggering claim. They alleged that Dread Pirate Roberts solicited and paid for multiple murders for hire. We have to state the legal reality of this plainly. Ulbricht was never charged with, tried for, or convicted of any murder for hire. No killing was ever shown to have actually occurred. These remain strictly unproven allegations, introduced by the government solely as character evidence at sentencing. But the documented physical harm, combined with these extreme allegations, forced federal agencies into an unprecedented, sprawling pursuit to find the site's administrator. The Department of Justice and the FBI launched one of the most complex cybercrime probes in history to dismantle the network. It would also emerge as one of the most compromised. This data flow shows the internal breach. DEA agent Carl Mark Force IV used undercover personas to steal roughly $100,000 in Bitcoin. Then, Secret Service agent Shaun Bridges diverted over $800,000 seized during the probe. Both men eventually pleaded guilty to federal crimes and went to prison. The federal government was actively hunting a digital criminal, while its own agents were using the investigation to steal digital currency. On October 1, 2013, FBI agents engineered a distraction in a San Francisco public library. They captured Ulbricht while his laptop was open and unlocked, and logged in directly as the site's administrator. The internal corruption was a staggering embarrassment for the task force, but the irrefutable physical evidence, frozen on that unencrypted connection, formed a trap Ulbricht could not escape. This forces our final question. What does it mean when the government's most emphatic cybercrime sentence of the decade is completely erased by a presidential pardon 8 years later? During the trial, the courts ruled that the historic theft by the 2 federal agents did not legally invalidate the hard digital evidence seized from Ulbricht's laptop. In February 2015, a Manhattan jury convicted Ulbricht on all 7 counts. This included the severe kingpin statute, engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise. For a first-time nonviolent offender with no prior record, U.S. District Judge Catherine Forrest delivered a crushing sentence, 2 life terms plus 40 years, entirely without the possibility of parole. The severity of the punishment ignited a global Free Ross movement. Led heavily by his mother, Lynn Ulbricht, supporters argued that the punishment was grotesquely disproportionate for a nonviolent first offender. The justice system intended the double life sentence to serve as an absolute finality. It was an uncompromising message directed at anyone who might attempt to build the next iteration of the dark web. Nearly a decade later, the narrative fractured. At the 2024 Libertarian National Convention, Donald Trump stood before the crowd and made a specific political promise to commute Ulbricht's sentence if elected. On January 21, 2025, his second full day back in office, President Trump granted Ulbricht a full and unconditional pardon. That evening, Ulbricht walked out of an Arizona federal prison. A sentence explicitly designed to end his life behind bars had been abruptly dismantled. The release created an immediate divide. The crypto and libertarian communities celebrated it as a long overdue victory against government overreach. Simultaneously, lawmakers and the families of the overdose victims heavily condemned the decision to free a man whose platform facilitated the mass distribution of hard drugs. The pardon ensures that the Silk Road saga leaves the concept of digital justice entirely undefined. The dossier closes not with a clean resolution, but with a permanent, irreconcilable contradiction between absolute freedom and absolute consequence.